Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing the video for the number 1 and the number 5 and the number 7. I did already do this video, but for some reason it's disappeared, so I'm going to take that as maybe there wasn't enough information on there because it was one of the first videos that I did, so maybe I didn't know as much then, I don't know. But I'm connecting to two readings, personal readings that I'm doing at the minute, and they both have a life path 1 or a 7, and then the soul is a 5. So this video needs to be done, and maybe I didn't touch on enough, so I'm going to do it again. So first off, we're going to start with the number 1, with the positives and the negatives, and the jobs or careers which would be fulfilling for that number 1. So in the numerology chart, you have 8 numbers. Now, the core numbers, they all mean something, but you know, the ones what I kind of go from is the life path, expression, the soul, and then the maturity, because that's who you turn into. So the maturity is who you become, you know, later in life. So say for instance you got a number 7 as your maturity, that'd be someone spiritual, someone spiritually leading, someone maybe doing tarot reading, doing astrology, doing channeling, but yeah, so that's who they come into. But if you also, with that maturity number, if that number appears in your chart anywhere else, this is something that you're repeating from a past life, so it's something that you didn't learn. So if it's a number that's not in the chart anywhere else, so say if it is the 7 and you don't have any 7s anywhere else, it's a brand new cycle. But yeah, if that 7 appears anywhere else, it's something that you didn't learn or you didn't fulfill within a past life. So it's been brought into this life with more energy of that number. So the positives for number 1 people, right? So number 1 people are very, very independent. They are the go-getters, I call them. They have so many ideas in their head. They're just confident with it. A lot of them are very good at speaking as well. They know what to say. They're very quick with what to say. They're very witty. They're just them people who, do you know when you're kind of having a conversation and sometimes you can freeze, or they wouldn't freeze because they're that sharp and that fast. They're very unique. They like to be original. You know, they're very spontaneous as well. They're very inventive. The ideas that come through are a lot, so sometimes that can be a bit of a mental impact because they have so much coming through. They don't rest. They're constantly on the go. They're very confident. They're very successful. They're very risk taking. So they do take risks quite a lot, you know, and they don't think about it, they just do it. So that also can be on the negative side, because regardless of the repercussions or what the effects are, they don't think about that. Whereas some of the other numbers, they're going to weigh up the full options before doing something. But number 1 people don't do that, they just do it, yeah? They don't think about it. Because sometimes when we think about things, that's when the ego gets in the way. And that can be bad, because sometimes we don't do certain things because the ego has analysed over everything and stopped us. But that's a powerful thing for a number 1. They don't have that, they just do it. They just do it, which could be a bad on the negative side as well, but also that's why I call them the go-getters. That's why they achieve a lot. And usually they can become famous, number 1 people. Them number 1 people are very powerful when it comes to manifesting. I don't think number 1 people understand the power of the number 1. And number 1, their words are so powerful. It's I've witnessed it throughout my life. Like, I've got a lot of 1s in my family. My ex-partners have been 1s, friends have been 1s. And when I see what they have and where they've got in life, and the career jobs they've got, and who have become famous or who have bought houses young, because that's the power of this number 1. So your words are very important and very powerful. So if you're thinking negative things, then that's what you're bringing in, guys. So always keep that positivity. I've noticed with number one people as well, they don't say they're going to do certain things. They act as if it's already here, and that's the power of the manifesting. I always tell people, act as if it's already here and you've got it. And it's like the power of that one. It's like, say for instance, someone says, oh, I'm going to pass this today, or, you know, they would say, I can't wait till I've passed this today, because, or when I pass this later on today, I'm going to go and do such a thing. And it's like, I'd be like, how do you know you're going to pass? What if you don't? And then you feel let down. And they don't have that. But my number thinks about things, so do you see what I mean? Also, make sure that I've not missed anything. Yeah, so that's the other thing as well. So number one people, that's ruled by the sun. Yeah, so that's why they do become famous, because number one people are here to shine and to become that centre stage kind of thing. All right, let's talk about the negatives for the one. So when number one people aren't balanced or on the negative end of a number one, this is when these things come into place. They can become egotistical. They can become self-centered and all about themselves. They can become quite stubborn. They can become very avoidant, impatient, that's a lot. So like I say, with these things, because they have that much coming through, when they are on that bad side of the number, these things can come up, and it's like the mental health. And because number one also I associate with addictive personality, but not saying addicted to drinking, alcohol, drugs and that kind of stuff. It can be addicted to anything. I've got 3 1s in my chart, and I've got 2 5s. Now the 1 and the 5, I associate them with addiction. So you could be addicted to learning. You could be addicted to going to the gym, working out. You could have the bad side of the addictions, but that's part of this number. So when it is on that bad side, that's why a lot of mental health comes from this number as well. And number one people and number 5 people are very high vibrational. So they don't rest. They like to be on the go constantly. They will make things to do. They will be on the go all the time. They don't sit down. They don't like to sit down, because I think that's when this negativity can come in as well. And sometimes they don't want to sit with certain things that pop in. So they'll just make things to do. But sometimes we have to do that to work through certain things. They can become very rebellious. They can become very domineering and arrogant. They don't like to listen to people. Whereas when you're on the good side of the one, they love to listen, but then they love to give their advice as well, you know. But when they're on the negative side, they won't listen. They just listen to their own words and think that their opinion is more above somebody else's, basically. Right, let's go to jobs now, guys. So number one people, yeah, they will grow their own business. They become entrepreneurs. They like to be their own boss. They like to lead a team. They're very good at doing that, because like I say, they like to take that role. They're very good at talking, and they're very good at navigating through life, literally. There's just something inside them which gives them that determination, that go-getters. So they are perfect team leaders. Also, because like I say, with the famous thing, you can become famous. So if you do something when it comes to being, I don't know, something sports-wise, like a footballer or anything like that, a basketballer, a cricket player, if they do something what is part of their number one, like these jobs are part of the careers of a number one to be successful, then they can become famous with it. If they become an actor, an artist, a singer, a poet, a writer, anything along them lines, they will become famous. I've seen it happen. And if they're doing it from a love, from the heart space, through love, and not from the ego, then they will become famous and will be very successful. But if that ego takes over when it comes to their own power and their own money and their own getting to the top, no matter what it takes, whether it hurts people on the way, then that's when they can lose things as well. So just be always in that heart space and through the soul. They can become life coaches. They're very good at helping people when it comes to helping people get some direction within their own lives. They're very good at politics, law, standing up for people, being the voice of people, psychology, mental health, helping people with mental health. Because this is another thing, because I think a lot of them go through so many things in life. The perfect person to help people is somebody who's been through these things, yeah? Because they like that routine as well, and things a certain way. They could become people who go into the army or into the military. They could become the leaders in them roles as well. They can become public speakers, whatever it is that they're passionate about. Because like I say, they're very good at speaking, especially in public. They don't hide back. Like some people will sit at the back of a room and avoid that, to be asked to go and speak. They're the ones who will put themselves forward for doing that. They love to do that because they're very confident when it comes to it. Also, they're very good at inventing things like AI, because things come to them a lot. So, but also this could be a bad thing because they can go from one thing to another because they have that much idea. So it's good to kind of give other people these things to do, so it's not all on themselves. Engineers as well, like I say, they're very, very good when it comes to creating things from scratch, and then putting it out there. But I think AI, it's like the guy who did, I can't think what it's called now, I think it's the guy who done the Apple or something, but he's number one. I think Nikola Tesla. There's quite a lot of people who are famous and who have brought out certain engineering things like crafts and stuff like that, and that's because it's part of that number one. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to do for number one, and I hope that's helped people. I'm going to go on to the number 5 next, guys. So the 1 and the 5, I always feel like they go together. All of these numbers, 1, 5 and 7, are quite similar. They've got this, do you know what I mean? But 1 and 5 I always see is going together, because 1, I think as well, like people who have a 1 and a 5 and then they in a relationship, they work really well together because it equals the number 6, which is the love and the balance and harmony. So I believe that them two go together. Also the 2 cycles as well, they're both new cycles, number 1 and number 5. Number 5 is a bit more of a freedom and exploring, going travelling, taking time for yourself, whereas number 1 is like whatever you're planning on number 1, make sure it's fulfilling, because that's what your next cycle is going to be. So whatever you bring in on a number 1 year will be with you for the next, until you get to the number 5, yeah? So you do have to put a lot of hard work in, especially when you're at the 4, but the 5, it's a bit more freedom. Right, so let's positives about the number 5. Number 5 people are very fun, outgoing. They're very free. They like to be free. They like to explore. They're very adventurous. They also are very high vibe, like the number 1. So they're very active. They don't like to sit. They like to be exploring. They're very curious about things. They like to, like when you, in school for instance, and people asking questions, number 5 will ask a question after, but why? But they keep going. And some teachers, they call them the problem children. That's what I see quite a lot, because they ask a lot of stuff, and sometimes people don't like to be asked stuff, especially when they don't know the answers. But number 5s like to know the answers, and they want to know, but why? They want to know more about it. But like I say, with these kids, they're not problem kids. They're born with the senses very heightened. They're born with the 5 senses, hence the number 5. So I do notice that number is usually associated with people with ADHD. They're very sensitive to noise and stuff like that, and that's because they're already born with their gifts heightened, and I class it as, well, they're born in the 5D, so that means that they're high vibrational. So to others who are on a lower vibration, them children are too hectic and they don't slow down. But that's because they're here for that reason with them senses, and it's beautiful. But people don't understand that and class them as problem children, and they're not. They just know something more. They know there's more to life because they're born with these senses there. So they're born to be curious and to go and seek out these things. They're very energetic. They're very witty. They're very can't say that word, charismatic. They like to tell jokes and stuff as well. They are the ones who crack jokes over anything. They just make a joke out of everything. I call them the Peter Pan. Number 5 people are the Peter Pans, so they don't ever grow up. I know number 5 people in the 60s and 70s who are working more than they've done in the past. And they look younger because they don't grow up. I just see them. They're just so young looking, but they're young at heart. So I always call them the Peter Pan people. They're always about community. They like helping people. They do as much as they can and giving back when it comes to people who maybe don't have a voice as well. Do you know? They're all about helping others and community, that kind of stuff. They're very friendly. So people are very drawn to number 5s because they just have that aura of that person you can go and speak to because they look like they're happy. They look like they're someone who's open to listen, and they are. They're very sociable. They're as well, when they are out at a gathering, partying or whatever, they're the last ones there. They're the ones that are just, that 5 is still going, like literally the last one standing. They're very, what's the word? They're explorers as well. They like to be out in nature. They love being out in nature. They love being like a child. And that's why I think that inner child comes out with that 5. It's associated with that. So it's like the inner children come out as they get older and they like to be playful. They just love to be playful and having fun. That's when the negative side comes in, which I'm going into now, which they don't like being told what to do. They don't like, it's hard for them to be out of a job where they're in a 9 till 5, because that to them is probably the worst thing, because they like to seek adventure stuff. So something in an office where they're just there 9 till 5, I don't feel like it would be fulfilling. I think the mental health would be really impacted. They like to be free and they like the day by day routine to be different. So, but structured at the same time. It's hard to explain that one. But yeah, when they're on the negative side, they do not like taking, they don't like authority kind of thing. They're very rebellious. They just don't like people telling them what to do and directing them what to do. They just cannot handle that at all. They can become very impulsive. They can become very irresponsible. Yeah, so that's when the rebellious comes in. They can become reckless and just explosive in a way. They can become disconnected, and they can become, a lot of mental health can kick in, to be honest. They can be very addictive then. That addictive personality can kick in. So when they're on the positive side, the addictive personality is in a good way, but when they're on the negative, that's when a lot of them can become lured into the bad things in life as well, when it comes to drugs and alcohol. And it's very hard for them to get out of it because of the addictive personality that they've got. And they can get very bored easily. So nothing will be satisfying when it comes to job. They can be going from one thing to another without finishing things off because they just can't keep focused in one place. So jobs and careers are freelancing, because like I say, they like to be free. So anything where they can change the routine and be moving about. Sorry, I paused then because I've seen the message and I thought it was urgent, but it's not. So like journalism as well, because with journalism they kind of go where the stories are, so they'd be just out and about exploring. That would be the highest job for them, to be more in alignment with the soul or the purpose, or they'll be feeling fulfilled with that than being in one spot. Community workers, helping the community out in the neighbourhood, maybe out in nature, maybe out growing food and supporting families and stuff like that, even supporting mental health, disability, stuff like that. social workers, that kind of stuff. Also comedians, I can't say that word, comedians. There's a lot of number 5 life paths who are famous when it comes to being a comedy person, do you know. Like I say, they will take the mick out themselves as well, do you know. They are so good at one-liners. They are very witty. They, like the number 1 people, the fast thinkers like that, they are, but in a different kind of way. Like number 1s are more like law, politics, that kind of fastness. Number 5s are more childlike number 5s. So they are very like, they're very good at being entertainment people. So it's like when you go to, I don't know, Butlins and you've got the entertainment team, that would be a perfect job because their inner child will be very, very happy. And, you know, the children will be looking up at them and loving them, do you know. Salespeople, very good at that because, like I say, they're very gifted when it comes to knowing what to say. They can talk themselves out of anything, and because they crack the jokes with it as well, people are lured into that, like, oh, because it's you, do you know, that kind of thing. So they're very good at that kind of stuff. Also, they have a passion for music, because that as well, for their vibration and for their mental health, music is so calming for their soul and for their environment. So a lot of them can become artists, DJs, rappers, MC, like they are very passionate when it comes to music. But music, like I say, is just something that they have to have on throughout the day for them to be more calm. And as soon as they put music on, I think they're just so grounded and at ease, and it calms their nerves down. But they have a passion for it, so they do. They're very good at it, you know. And also, yeah, community workers I've wrote here as well. So yeah, public affairs, yeah, standing up for the people, basically standing up for people with no voice. And because they are fast when it comes to the speaking and stuff, they know what to come back with. So usually they are good for standing up for people in that area. Right, now we're going to go to the number 7s. So number 7, the positives. Number 7 people are visionaries. They have a vision and they like to stick to their visions. They seem to have a plan and strategy and like a direction that they want to go in. They like to stick to that. They're very intuitive as well. They are very highly intuitive. They're very spiritual, and sometimes they don't even know it, but they're very spiritual people. They speak spiritual without realizing it, and it's like, especially people I know who are on the spiritual path, but they say certain things, I'm like, that is really, really spiritual, but they just say it, and they probably don't know why they're saying it. They're very wise. It's like they know certain things, and even they probably don't know. But I think as well, that comes with the whole tarot reading, mediumship, that kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of them then become that kind of people, like that channel or speaking to spirits and stuff, because it's part of their gift of being that number 7. It's the crown chakra, the 7th chakra, so it's like connected to source, connected to the guides. So if they're born with that gift of their crown and that connection, that's why they're so intuitive, and they just know. They can feel certain things happening, or maybe premonitions of something about to happen. They don't know how they knew, but they just knew. So they're very good at reading situations, at reading people. They're very deep thinkers as well. So that sometimes can cause them because they're deep thinkers and the problem solvers. Like, I always call them problem solvers. Number 7s, if you give them a problem, they will solve that problem. But because they can't stop until they have, that can be a lot on the mental health. But yeah, if you've got something and you need, 7 people will not stop until they've done it, you know. So they're good in that kind of way, but it can be a lot on the mental and the mind and the psyche. They're very mysterious people. Even though they're good at reading people, people can't really read number 7s. So to people are like, what is that person about? Like, because they're not showing too much. So they're very misunderstood as well. That's another thing. Number 7s can be very, very misunderstood. Number 7s, when they speak to somebody, especially giving advice, people can take it completely different, and then number 7s can become, they can remove themselves because they don't understand people and why they act the certain ways, you know. But they're very independent. They don't rely on nobody, just themselves. They like to do things themselves. Like I say, they're very truth seeking. They seek out the truth. So like for instance, if someone is like, oh, do you believe in such a thing? And they're not sure about it, they will seek the truth, and they will go into all different areas to find all the evidence for their own. So what they do is, they don't just listen to somebody, like some people listen and be like, oh, right, okay. No, number 7s will take that, whatever's been told, and they go and look at all the different angles of it, and all the different religions, all the different cultures. They seek out the truth, and they find out, you know, if there's any kind of, if they match up with each other. And yeah, they're very good at truth seeking. They like to truth seek. They're not materialistic whatsoever, number 7 people. They're very unusual and authentic. They don't follow the crowd. They do their own thing. And that's what I love about number 7s. They just wear what they want to wear without, people can be very judgmental, but number 7s, if they want to wear colourful, bright things, or things that people don't wear, they're going to wear it because that's them. They like to be, they are very authentic. They stand out because of their authenticity, which I love. They're very unique, and they're very analytical. And that's the other thing when it comes to, when people tell them certain things, they like to know the facts and, well, why have you got that? And you know what I mean? They like to know, and they're very good at researching, and when they've done all this stuff, because that's what number 7s seem to do a lot of self-education, when like they're very what's the word, intelligent. Number 7 people have got so much in their mind. They have a lot, because they take so much in, and like I say, because they're always researching and educating themselves, sometimes that can be a huge impact, because they can't rest and they can't shut down, because they wanting to learn as much as possible. And that can be on the negative side then, when they're doing too much and they're not taking rest and relaxed, because that mind's overworking, and they always feel like they've got to do something, or there's not enough time to do certain things, and that's one of the negatives on that side. They can become very isolated, number 7s, because like I say, they're very misunderstood, and they don't understand people and how they act and the way they are. They just remove themselves from people, and they can cut people out of their life like that without even thinking. So if you did something to the 7s, they will just remove you out their life like it was nothing. Literally, they will just block you right now. And whether they unblock you later on, you know, that's a different story. But they can become they don't mind being alone. This is another thing. So when they're on the negative side, they do become loners, and they just don't care about being around other people, because they would rather be on their own, be in their own comfort, than be around people who don't understand them. But that could be a positive and a negative thing for them, because we have to be alone sometimes to learn about ourselves and stuff, whereas some numbers do not like to be alone, and that's their problem when it comes to learning these lessons. They won't spend the time alone. But we have to sit with our own self and learn who we are on a deeper level, and heal ourselves and stop relying on other people. But that's something that number 7s can do very good. You know, they love to be alone. They love their own company. They will dance, sing, have fun, they don't mind doing that, so that's good. But also they can become very depressed and very down, and especially when things are misunderstood and they're in a frame of mind of, why does nobody else see things like how they see things? And they can become very depressed, and that can be a lot of mental health, like I say, because the crown chakra is that they can get a lot of psychic attacks, whether it's from themselves or other people who throw energy towards them. So if people are misunderstanding them and throwing this bad stuff towards them, it's like because their crown is open, they can become psychic attacked, and they do have to protect themselves quite a lot when it comes to this. Cleanse and detox the auras. They can become very obsessive, like say with the whole learning, and they could become so obsessed with it that can be a lot of impact on their own health and the mental health as well. They can become very awkward and odd. They can become very I'm on the number 7 lesson, guys, so don't be triggered by this, by the way. So, and guess what? It's from a past life, so I have more than 1 7. That means that I didn't learn certain things. So don't think I'm being critical on you, because I totally get it. This is me. Yeah, they can become very hard at communicating. So because they can't seem to communicate the way they want to, that's when they can be quite aggressive with it, or attack somebody else with verbal negativity kind of thing. That's why I think they remove themselves, because they know it's going to happen. So they remove themselves so that people don't have to have that from them. But when people come for them, then it's going to be a reaction into it. They can become very skeptical. They can become very distant from themselves as well, like disconnected from their own gifts and their own self, and withdrawn. They could complain about little things, what they would not normally even say, but and very critical on themselves and others as well. So let's go to the careers now and the jobs to be fulfilled within the number 7. So number 7 can, because they're very good at engineering and resolving things and creating things. Scientists, or when they're trying to solve a problem and getting the answers for it, they're so good at engineering and scientific things, like space, like as well. Do you know, like the ones who also the people who make the crafts and the aeroplanes and all that kind of stuff, that for them, because that keeps their mind stimulated. Also, they're very good at being politicians, leaders, politics, because like I say, they look into all sides of things, and because they're very analytical and political, they are good at becoming that kind of role. That is, you know, they're good at leadership roles, and they are leaders. Number 7 is leader, but it can be either leaders in that kind of area or a spiritual leader. So some become into a certain religion maybe, and then become a leader in that religion and helping people doing, I don't know, they could become professors at universities doing seminars and stuff like that, podcasts and stuff, you know, when people speak about certain topics. They're very good at that. They're very good at technology. So AI, anything like that, they are good at technology. I'm not good at technology. Now maybe that's something that I didn't learn in my past life. Maybe I've got to learn it. And I've just thought that right then, so possibly that is what it is. And I've still not got good at it, so maybe I'm going on the same lesson again. Yeah, they're very good at IT, programming, so they could become IT technicians, you know, at high schools and stuff like that. But they're good at software programming, and they might create the software programs as well. They're very good at being judges, law, in the law field, because like I say, they are good people readers. So, and they're very aware of body language. They can read a room like that. So that job is going to be the perfect job, because what better person to do it than someone who can read a situation or a room faster than another person and look at it from all angles. So as well, because obviously people can be very manipulative and very good at lying. So the number 7, if they're good at reading and being able to solve these other areas, then that's going to be a perfect job for them. Also, numerology. Now, this is what I do, so this could be the lesson. So a lot of them can become numerologists or astrologists. They start to look into astrology, like I did, discovering that side of them, which I never knew before I'm 35 now, and I started this at 30. I think I started with the astrology. I never really looked into anything. Sorry, I'm doing personal readings, and my voice has gone because I'm connected to their energy, and I know that one of them is definitely got a cold and stuff, so I think I'm feeling their cold at the minute, because I was okay, and today I've not. But the only way to work through that with the throat chakra, guys, we know, is to talk. People seem to stop because they think they've got to stop, but no, work through it, talk more, and do this video is meant to happen today. So yeah, they can become tarot readers, mediumships, they can become channelers, connecting, bringing knowledge from a higher place down into the present, into the ground, into earth. You can talk to spirits, spirit guides. They can become spiritual leaders, as in this kind of stuff as well. Do you know, in the awakening, you know, they can bring knowledge from past lives into this life, or to help people, or bring knowledge from the future into the present to help people. So they can be very spiritual, and they can turn to spirituality later on in life as well. But yeah, it's a lot of spiritual leading. That's what I see it as, a lot of spirituality. But I'm going to leave it there, guys, because my voice is really starting to hurt now. But yeah, I hope this has helped. So if you have any of these numbers within your chart, then these could resonate with you. But also, if you feel like you resonate with these numbers and you don't have them in the chart, then that's fine. Just go with your own gut feeling, because a lot of the numbers are very similar, like I say, but these are the odd numbers. And so we've just done the 1, the 5 and the 7, but the 9 is obviously with the 3, 6 and the 9, because they're the pyramid numbers. So I've got all the rest of the videos. So I have the power number 33, the power number 22, the power number 11, and also the 3, 6 and 9 together, and then I have the 2, 4 and 8 together. So if you want to go and look at any of them, if they're highly in your chart, please look through my videos. They are further down though, because like I say, I did do this a while back, but it's gone. So yeah, let me know if this resonates with people and what people think about this. If you are drawn to like or subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing as well. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love, guys. Bye for now.